Hello, hello, and welcome back. My name is Kat. I am the nurse flipper. If you do not know, I am a full-time reseller. I've been a full-time reseller almost 3 years now, and every couple of weeks I like to do a video showing you my high dollar what sold. These are going to be items that start at $49.99 and go up all the way to almost $400 this time. So we've had 18 sales over the past 2 weeks. It has been a little bit slower for us, unfortunately, but to be expected over the holidays, and some really great things. So if you're looking to increase your average sales price, these are definitely items you want to learn, you want to know, and keep an eye out for. And I'm going to show them to you right now. All right, first up is a pair of Nike Kobe Mamba Instinct. These are kids basketball shoes, size 7 youth, black and orange. We did put Reed. They did have a couple of flaws on them, and sold for full price at $49.99 in about 2 months. I don't have my cost into these because I bought a big designer lot and I didn't break it down by each individual item. So I will show you these. Keep an eye out for Nike, even if they are kids. So you can see here we're showing up close this crack, because any flaws at all, you definitely want to make sure to show. This one did not go for authentication, but when your shoes do go for authentication, that is that much more important to show the flaws. And these were a great sale. They took 2 months and sold for $49.99. Next up is one that I'm really proud of, because typically these do not sell very well, but I lotted them up and they actually sold in 2 months. This is a Nesco Homco vintage hummingbird and robin porcelain figurine set. It was a lot of 2. They were different brands, but brought that $50 when I put the 2 together. So for me here lately, it has been really important to get a higher average sales price. So by lotting these 2 up, I did that. And here you can see they were clearly marked. There is that Nesco marking on the one. And then this one was the Homco. And great sale at $50 in a very short time. Next up is one that took almost a year to sell. This is an Italy sterling wishbone heavy 925 bracelet. This one was signed ALX. I did not identify that maker, and this one sold for a best offer of $59, but it was listed in March last year, so almost a year to sell. It is an 8-inch bracelet, so longer. So this one's kind of surprising that it took as long as it did, but I only originally paid $10 for it, so it's about a $45 profit. And I did get this from an online estate auction lot. Up next was a pretty cool sale. This one I got in an online auction lot. This is, and I only paid a couple of dollars. This is a vintage rooster hooked rug doormat, 27 inches, and it has stains. It has signs of wear, but it's vintage and people will expect that. So this one is close to a $50 profit. Now, it did take a little longer to sell. It was listed in May, so it took about 9 months to sell. But look at the condition of this and just know that with vintage pieces, they don't have to be perfect. They can be stained, they can be flawed, and they can still bring a really good price. Up next is this cute little pocket knife set that actually came in a jewelry lot. I'm not sure why. Only about $5 in. I did accept a best offer of $60, so it's about a $45 profit. It took about 4 months to sell. Really cute. You can see here they look bigger than they are. They're only about 3.5 inches, and this one was a great sale at $60. I accepted a little lower than I wanted because my sales were low that day, but it was still a really good profit. Up next was a really fast sale. This one sold in only a month. For a best offer, I sent out a $53.99. This is a vintage mid-century modern amethyst swung glass vase. I did put purple and 10 inches. And this one I got for about $8. And that makes it close to a $40 profit. And again, it's sold in a month. And I got this from an online estate auction in a glass lot. Next up is one that took about 6 months to sell. This is a Hudson's Bay yellow and green vintage plaid blanket. It was 75% mohair, 25% wool. I actually picked this one up at the thrift store for only $5. It sold for a best offer of $62, making it close to a $50 profit, which I love on thrift store finds. Here you can see made in Scotland, Hudson Bay Company, and really, really cool kind of retro colors on this one, and a really great sale and great profit on a thrift store find. Next up was another really, really fast sale. This is a vintage box of 12 Poland teardrop round glass hand painted Christmas ornaments. And this one was listed just last month and sold for a best offer I sent out of $72. I am less than $10 in, making this about a $55 profit. Now, we knew these were higher priced, so you can see we took pictures of individual ornaments. If this was worth a lower price point, that is not something I would have done. But knowing that I was going to be asking almost $80, we did take a little more time with this listing. Next up is another fast sale. This one sold in a month. This is an Invicta Russian Diver 1959 men's watch. This one sold for a best offer of $80. This is another one from my designer buyout where I don't have exact individual cost on this one, unfortunately. And I did get that deal from a contact via Rod, my show co-host for my podcast on Tuesday nights. So make sure you're networking, let people know what you do. It's really important because they might come across a deal they're not interested in, but if they know that you might be, they'll let you know. And this one was a great sale, $80 in a month. Next up is another item that is from that designer buyout, and that is a pair of Air Jordans. These are retro low black varsity red. I did have the box. They were size 9. So make sure you're looking at the Nikes, especially if they have the box. Here you can see the size, and these were not new. They were used, but they did have that original box. And again, at these higher price points, we definitely take quite a few pictures, and these will be authenticated by eBay before they are sent to the buyer. That is something eBay offers on certain brands over a certain price. And these sold in about 2 months. Next up is one that took absolutely forever to sell, but it sold for a best offer I sent out of half off for $97.17, and I only was $8 into this. So this one's close to an $80 profit, though it did take 2 years. It's a very small piece, but really nice cobalt blue little lidded jar. This one you can see here, the Miteke signature. It was from 1985, and it's just a 5-inch by 4-inch jar. Little jar, really cool. Somebody actually sent me these pictures and said I could use them of Louis Miteke in his studio and outside. And amazing potter. He is a Northwest potter out of the Seattle area. So if you're in that area, definitely keep an eye out. I got lucky and found a big collection of these and an online estate auction here in Florida. Next up is one that took a long time to sell. So it took a year to sell, but I only paid $10 and it did sell for full price of $130. So very close to $100 profit. So you can see here, we show it folded. That first picture is actually of it on my bed. It did have a couple of spots, but still sold for that $129. So with linens, they can take longer to sell. There is the Pottery Barn tag you definitely want to keep an eye out for. But this one was a $100 profit. So I am completely okay waiting to get that $100 profit. And great, great sale. And this one was a thrift store find. Next up is another really fast sale. This one sold in under a month, and it did sell for full price at $139.99. I got this from an online auction. I paid about $30 for this one. So it's about an $85 profit, very fast. With the Lladro, make sure you research. Some of the small ones like this are not worth much, but others are worth quite a bit. And this original price really doesn't matter. You really need to make sure you look up current comps and not look at that actual price sticker. We are starting our top 5 off with these Nike Kobe Elite. These are size 9. These are another from our designer buyout lot. And these sold for full price of $199. They did take about 2 months to sell. Really, really nice pair. These, again, are pre-owned, so keep your eye out for those Nikes. They will sell even pre-owned if you find the right ones. So a lot of times Nikes are marked up in the thrift store, but sometimes they are worth paying up for. And what you need to do is just look up this number here. You can see the 822522. You look that up and you should be able to find comps pretty easy. Number 4 is probably my favorite in this video, and that is a pair of vintage Navajo sterling silver feather hair combs. Set of 2. They took 6 months to sell. I did get them from an online auction. They did sell for full price, and they are absolutely beautiful, beautiful pieces with sterling and turquoise. And I paid $50 for these, so they are about $150 profit. Next up is another really, really fast sale. And this one sold in only a month. For a best offer, I sent out of $269.99. I paid about $50 for this. This is an antique Arthur Nash iridescent art glass vase. It was signed. I did pick this up from an online estate auction. And with most of the glass that I get from estate auctions, those are local ones that I actually drive to and pick up. I do get asked that quite frequently. So iridescent glass is absolutely one of my favorites. Here you can see that Nash signature. Beautiful, beautiful piece of iridescent glass. It is not that big. It is only 4 inches and sold for $260. Next up was actually a pretty fast sale. This was in the shed, and I realized that it had sold, not been paid for, and never got relisted. So we put it back up in November, and it sold in 2 months. So they did pick this up local pickup. I accepted $300. Originally, I paid $50 for this, so it's about a $200 profit. It is a Ethan Allen record cabinet. Really, really cool piece. I used to pick up a lot of Ethan Allen pieces, but freight cost went up, so I haven't picked many up, and right now I don't have the space. But selling furniture is definitely something I would consider again. I'm going to pop up my freight video for you guys so you can kind of see how that works. And if you come across Ethan Allen pieces, those have definitely been the easiest pieces of furniture for me to sell. All right, the number 1 selling is another item from the designer buyout. So I don't have a buy cost, but these sold really fast. They sold in a month. These are authentic Gucci camel maxi monogram sneakers, worn once. And actually, these didn't come from the designer. I actually bought these from an estate auction. I just remembered that. I'm sorry about that. And I paid $170 for these. So these are about $160 profit, and they sold in a month. So these were in great condition. You can see the made in Spain. They were pre-owned, but very few signs. They did have the original box as well as the laces and the card that came with it. And this one was a great sale, and it sold very fast in just a month. All right, that was everything as far as our high dollar sales for the last 2 weeks. I hope you enjoyed. My number 1 definitely was the Navajo hair combs. And my number 2 would have to be the Arthur Nash vase, because I absolutely love iridescent glass. So I hope these have helped you. And I want to remind you, most of these items I paid up for. I didn't get them for $1, $5, or $10. I had to pay up, but the profit on them is definitely worth it. So be willing to pay up on items that you are able to research and will bring you a big profit. It pays to play sometimes. You got to pay up. So I hope you enjoyed. We do a mix of higher and lower dollar items. That is what works best for us to keep a steady income coming in, as this is our primary income. But you have to decide for yourself. Some people only do high dollar and some only do lower dollar because they don't want to have that much invested in something that might sit for 6 months. So you really have to figure out what will work for you. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will have a video out Sunday of just those regular bread and butter $20 to $50 items that you will find out in the wild, so to speak, more often. I hope you've enjoyed this. I really appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one.